Long ago, in a time when the world was simpler but no less challenging, there lived a man named Abraham. Abraham wasn't a king or a warrior. He was a shepherd, a husband, and a man of deep faith. And his story would change history. Abraham and his wife Sarah had lived many years without children. In their culture, children were a blessing and a legacy, so their hearts ached with longing. But Abraham held on to a promise made by God himself. So Abraham obeyed. He left behind everything he knew, trusting in God's promise, even though it seemed impossible. After all, how could he become a great nation without even one child? Years passed. Abraham grew older. Sarah grew older. And still, they had no children. But God hadn't forgotten his promise. One night, as Abraham sat under the vast expanse of stars, God spoke to him again. Abraham believed in God, and in that moment, something extraordinary happened. God made a covenant with Abraham, a sacred promise. God's covenant wasn't just words, it was a binding agreement. He promised Abraham that his descendants would inherit the land, and that through him, all nations on earth would be blessed. But when Sarah heard God's promise that she would bear a son, she laughed. After all, she was far beyond the age of having children. But God had the last word, and just as God promised, Sarah gave birth to a son. They named him Isaac, which means laughter, because their joy was beyond words. Through Isaac, Abraham's family grew, and eventually his descendants became a great nation, just as God said. But the promise wasn't just about Abraham's family. It pointed to something even greater, a future hope for all people. Abraham's story reminds us to trust, even when the promise seems distant. It shows us that faith, no matter how small, can lead to something greater than we could ever imagine. So the next time you look up at the stars, remember Abraham and the God who keeps his promises. Please like and subscribe to the channel for more stories. Thank you for watching.